Williams sealed their maiden title at the circuit in 1980, while Mercedes were crowned champions for a record-breaking 7th consecutive year in 2020.
Good evening, everyone, and I'm so sorry for the delay. It is my fault, but we will blame Kieran because that's easy enough to do. Welcome back then to JACKOCAR, the Cup Series, Season 8, Round 3, and we are here in Imola, San Marino, a track where Ben Harrett, I believe it was, won here last year against all odds, a place where Leroy has won before, and a place where Casper Klein is yet to win, but he said he is the man to beat today. I, myself, Jack Ricketts, your commentator, will be joined by none other than the Welsh beauty that is Barry Baldwin. How are we, Barry?
Good evening, Jacko. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for that introduction. Yeah, it's good to be back in the combox and to kick off the third round of Season 8 in JACKOCAR. Catching up on the round 1 and 2, which was a slightly different format to JACKOCAR with the two 25% races, which was fun to watch as well. So we're back to the 50% race tonight, so back to normal proceedings, and we're looking forward to it.
Very TGP, you could say, last week, wasn't it? Did you enjoy it as a spectator? Albeit the stream cut short.
Yeah, I did enjoy the Singapore race because I'm a big fan of Singapore, and with the mixed conditions as well, it threw up a few surprises. It was a good race.
Absolutely, and as well, good to have some of those old names back as well. You're on Al Khalifas. We welcome back Corey and Jordan and our old full-time commentator Owen Wyatt, who is first out this evening, race winner in Singapore last week. So as a reserve driver, he is not he has not advanced to the playoffs, but he did win, and he has asked, because of that win, would you mind awfully if you send me out first in qualifying so I can show off this livery? So we are back with your greens, your blues, your whites, and a little bit of black on there. And I have to admit, it's an awful template, but he has got the colours spot on that, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. And it did look quite nice under the lights in Singapore. And like you said, with him getting into the car and out of the com box, and it was a really good win for him as well. I believe he won by about 14 seconds or so. So it was a good victory for him.
He said he will be no threat tonight, however, here in Imola, because he's on pad and between moving houses. But let's see how he goes then. I don't know the track corners, so we'll make them up as we go along. Owen Wyatt will begin a lap here in San Marino, the kinked main straight, the pit exit on your right there. This, I believe, coming up here is actually turn 2. They do count that kink as a corner. Turn 3 and turn 4 follow swiftly after. Easy to spin out and hit the wall on the left. So we head down towards turn 5. It's a fast switch back to the right. Keep it between the lines and you should be all right as you end sector 1 here in turn 6. This is where Hamilton went off a couple of years ago and lost that race in the rain. This is the longer back straight then. Owen Wyatt finds himself blind entry into this left-hander here, but one of those you can carry a lot of speed through, and he does a brilliant job of it. Hits all the apex he needs. Difficult right-hander, followed by another right-hander. One of the slower corners on the track, this, as you try and get the power down on the exit. And now a little short shoot down to the chicane, which you can make up a bit of time, but lose a whole lot. And he does just enough there to keep it valid, does Owen Wyatt. Race winner from 1 week ago in Singapore. And final sector here in San Marino then. Lovely houses over on the right. Imagine living there. You could get to watch JACKOCAR for free as we exit the final corner and into the DRS zone, and across the line goes Owen Wyatt, 1:14.8. I believe we are expecting high 1:13s for pole.
Right, so that's the benchmark at the moment for everyone to beat.
It is.
I believe it's going to be Kyle's next.
Yep. Kyle not here last week, so he's already missed 2 races. But back once again for another season of JACKOCAR, Barry Baldwin.
Yep, I'm back in the ART colours. I love the little bits of purple on these cars. So he'll be looking to get his season off to a good start. as he comes down into, I believe, is Rivazza.
Probably.
My Italian's not great because my own language is difficult enough to learn, but there we go, across the line, and it's a 1:15.7.
Nobody knows Welsh. Let me just throw it out there straight away. Here's Kieran, and first of all, he's running the wrong number. Secondly, this is his first start this season. He was out seeing the girlfriend last week. We will say no more than that, but I'm sure a lot went on up in, where is he? Grimsby? I don't know. But to continue an old Owen Wyatt theme, what is this livery? It's absolutely disgusting. So hopefully he puts it somewhere towards the back. He hasn't invalidated yet. There's one corner where he can still do that. That's right here. So he will get a lap on the board, will young Kieran, but hopefully it's not very fast. And it goes P2, a 14.9. So next up, Sullivan Lewis, who has 1 point so far this season. Where are you? There he is.
There he is.
I tell you what, something that Risky does do well is the colours. I know he uses that Team Speed blue, but he tends to stray a bit more colourfully than what his Team Speed buddies do. Always adds a little bit of pink in there, and it looks so good on this car especially.
Yeah, and the game at the moment's not brought out a whole lot of good liveries to use, so he has done a good job with this one. I do like this one. As he's now coming down the hill, he spots his braking zone right. Make sure you don't run too wide because you will invalidate, and he doesn't do that. Into the final corner and up to the line. DRS open, and he goes into P4.
P4 for Risky. He will have his one good race a season, I'm sure. It certainly wasn't last week, but it was good to actually have him here. He normally misses the first race week of a JACKOCAR season. I'm just looking for a name. It's Jamie Griffiths, and I can't find him. What's he called?
Jamie Numbers.
Jamie Numbers.
Yeah, there we go.
Where is he?
He's currently 5th on the time.
Oh, there he is.
He's just coming into the final corner now, and I gotta say, I'm liking the look of the livery.
Yeah, it looks very good.
Same template as Owen, and nice with the purple on it.
So very sorry there, Jamie, missing all of your lap. That's my bad, I couldn't find you, but we will get more of Yori's lap in. Here he is, and he invalidates. That's the first one of the evening. Yori last week, Singapore, crossed the line, well, didn't cross the line, unlike Casper. Goes for another spin. That seems to be a habit of this season. He crashed a few metres before the line, unlike Casper's wreck car, which did cross. So Yori, 0 points in Singapore, and then he got I think 3 points in Saudi Arabia, so not a good start to this season for him just yet, but I'm sure he'll get on the money soon. Here's your fellow countryman, Barry, Mr. Wazecuber.
Yes. Well, I can't find him. There we go.
16th.
Yes, there we are. Waze, down from the south, so his accent's a bit different to mine, but we'll go with him. Yep, the Welshman, he's coming into, I believe, is Akmarilla Raleigh. If I've said that wrong, apologies for my Italian again. As he goes up to the hill and into the next chicane, turns 14 and 15. Apparently purple, but you know what the game's like.
Yeah, I'm not buying that one.
And he's keeping these similar colours that he's done in previous seasons in Kia and stuff, so it's nice to see. Is he a reserve or is he full-time?
He is a reserve, is our Waze. And he'll go across the line in P3. Good lap. You mentioned his accent. I'm sure Waze will appreciate this from me. Obviously, he's a Welshman, is Waze, but I believe he has Congolese blood in him. And that's the first time we've mentioned that in JACKOCAR. So I'm sure Waze will appreciate that. Ben Harrott next, wherever he is.
He's just invalidated at the final chicane, turn 14, took too much curb, and that's his lap done.
What a shame for Ben Harrott. Race winner here, of course, his one and only race win, which he did win with a penalty for someone else, but He's back, looking hungry as ever, is the midfield man. So next up, Jordan Lane. I can find him. His name's right at the bottom. Running blue, green and black as ever. A bit of white in there. I was looking through the stats earlier, Barry, and he is the only man, in terms of all-time points, he's the only man in the top 20 drivers who has yet to win a race in the Cup Series.
Wow. Let's see where this lap puts him. P5, so if he gets a good start, keeps out of trouble, you never know, that win might happen for him tonight.
Never know. Here is Danny Quinn then, last week's commentator. Of course, yourself and Danny rotating that. And I believe Owen Wyatt said he may even make an appearance. But we'll see how that goes this season. And I will use that opportunity to say I am by no means an expert at this. Neither is Danny, neither is Barry. So all the credit in the world for us putting on this show this evening. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
We deserve it.
Yeah. I do like the sound of the Northern Irish accent, though. We do miss Owen.
Yeah. So to take the mick out of every week. Of course, Owen, by the way, is still actually the pole sitter as it stands. As we see Danny Quinn here through the final corner. I dare say that's a bit of Team Speed Blue on his car, but I might get shot for saying that. Across the line he goes. It's P7. And now we are into the top 10, the fast 10, if you will. Connor Byers, the first one, took a P5 last week. And Connor we're going to get a whole lap on board of this. Running that ART purple. This is his 81st start in the league. Another driver without a win in the Cup Series. Comes so close in Canada last season. And it was stolen by teammate Mike Kelterborn. Was it on a penalty at the very end? I think it was, wasn't it? So Baz is having some interference with the win there. Is he back?
I'm back.
He's back.
Yeah. So, on Connor, I'm quite surprised at that stat that he's never actually won a racing cup because, on his day, he is a rapid driver.
Yeah,
but
100%. And it was only Canada last season where he got his first podium. Oh, big moment through the chicane. What a save from Connor, keeping it valid, unlike others that have come before him. Hopefully, he'll put himself towards the front still, but that may well have affected the lap. It's looked pretty clean so far, other than that. You see his confidence through the penultimate turn there may have been affected. It is a bit off on the line, but through comes Connor. That's fourth, and what a shame. Because I think he would have been on for at least a top three with that.
I would agree with that. It's definitely possibly front row. But yeah, Owen first out, and still no one's been able to beat him.
Well, Khalifa did it last week, didn't he?
The high 13s are still yet to come.
Khalifa was first out and put it on pole. There's Casper, by the way, just gone P3. More on him later as we move to Arnaud, the super fast Belgian. Oh, very wide, wasn't he, through there? But again, keeps it valid.
That didn't invalid.
Look at this car in the sunlight. Unbelievable. He goes fourth. So we are getting closer to Owen Wyatt's time, Barry, as we move on to Leroy Hazelager, who's won here before.
Yes. Season 3, Kia Series champion. Have I got the season right?
Season 4. No, 3. 3. You're correct.
3.
I was there. Oh, that invalid.
Tad wide there.
And of course, Leroy won this race, I believe, on his Joker in the Kia Series, and then the same week raced in the Cup Series race, and then won that.
Yes, yeah, I do remember that, yeah.
I don't know if it's the same track or the same week, but it was one of them. Because whatever one he didn't do, his brother Yuri did what he didn't.
Yeah.
And that might have been that, actually, the same week. He swept the week, did Yuri. And Leroy swept the Imola races. But we'll move on to the fastest man in Team Speed, Speed Gareth. Force India style livery. And did you notice the name of this car? I did mention it last week. Do you know what he called it?
I didn't know. I missed that.
It's the C-UNTO1.
Okay. I like it. Yeah.
Some would say it's the fastest beep on track. Through the final corner then, Garethall. What can the fastest man in team speed do? Certainly the fastest man from the middle of England. He's only P12. That's where he started last week. And now Mike Kelterborn.
Yeah, there we go. So, yep, another one with the purple ART guys. And again, Anke Born is another driver on his day. He's capable of winning races. So let's see if he can sneak into the top 5 possibly. He's kept it nice and tidy through the chicane.
He proved he
hill.
could win races last year. That stealing the win in Canada from Connor, and that was his first win actually. I think it was an 88 race drought. Oh, big moment at the exit. It's just about stay valid. That was his first win, by the way, since Azerbaijan in season 1, the first ever playoff race. What a shame for Mike. He'll be towards the back, so we'll move on to the reigning champion and the most recent race winner. If he wins again tonight, he will go into double figures, and a list that consists of Kyle Smith, Khalifa El Khalifa, Arnaud de Grief, and Jamie Wright. So he'll only be the 5th to do it. He's level with title rival Ben Shaw, who's not here this evening. Other drivers not here this evening include Michel Goris and Jamie Wright. But up to the line then comes Jake O'Sullivan. What can he do? It's only P5, so Owen's time looking good still. Khalifa is next.
Yes, the main man Khalifa. It's good to see this guy back in JACKOCAR. As you said, one of the main runners in terms of points, wins, etc. So, and I'm liking the livery as well. Very nice. Let's see, come through the chicane, takes that nicely, keeps it valid.
Dare I say as well, the fastest man in ERT.
Yeah, I'd agree to that. And, probably he'd say the same.
Of course he would.
I see it. Comes out the final corner. Can he get anywhere near Owen's time?
Yes!
He puts it on pole.
14.5. So when I said earlier a high 13 is what we're expecting, I might have been a bit too ambitious. But here's a man who might get close then. Corey Dalton.
Yes.
He won't like hearing that Khalifa's the fastest man in ERT, but let's see what he can do about that. Of course, Corey, in the pre-season to this season, it was all the hype in the chat was around him. I'm going to demolish you all, he said. And he failed to get on the podium in last week's double header. Different line to others though, a little tighter compared to what we have seen already, and not as committed through the penultimate corner as Khalifa was. So has he been better through the rest of the lap? To the line then, Corey Dalton, P1 is a much better lap, and it's going to leave then all eyes on Peter Knighton, the season 1 champion who beat the likes of Khalifa and Arnaud and Jamie Bromley all those years ago. And this is the first time he has been last out of a qualifying session since season 2 when he opened his title defence, something he didn't manage to do. Something that nobody has managed to do is defend a title. But Pete Knighton back to the top of a JACKOCAR points table, and it's fantastic to see. Takes the title line just like Corey. Does Pete have something up his sleeve this season? Just the one corner to go. He invalidates, and Pete Knighton has messed it up. What a shame. We gave him the big build-up and he couldn't deliver, but it would have been... I didn't know, I missed a time.
He would have gone P3.
He would have gone P3, would have been massive, but because of that, he's going to start down in P20. What a shame for Peter Knighton, because it wasn't that bad at all.
He'll be gutted with that. He'll be kicking himself for that.
I'm gutted with that, but I don't have favourites. So there you go. So yeah, that completes your qualifying. Corey on pole with a 14.4. Completes the lineup with Khalifa P2, Owen third, Kieran fourth, and Casper, who says he will win this race in P5. And then beyond that, you have the likes of Arnaud and your other challenges. Jake really low down, by the way.
Yeah.
Waze, who said he would drop, actually will start 8th, so not bad at all. Then Connor, Jamie Griffiths, Jordan, Kyle, Quinn, Risky, hold on, what's I travel down? Gareth, Mike, Yuri, Ben Harrett, Leroy, and a very unfortunate lap from Pete. That is your qualifying order for San Marino.
Yes, Team Speed will be disappointed. A few of the drivers didn't manage to get laps in down the bottom. Same with the likes of Risky and Gareth, who did get laps in towards the rear end of the field. But there's no points for qualifying.
I was muted. There is no points for qualifying. Absolutely spot on. Pete Knighton, by the way, just looking through the stats, he has 3 poles in his career. He won't extend that today. But our pole sitter, Corey, takes his 6th all-time, and of course a very important playoff point with that. So yeah, despite not being on the podium last week, he is certainly in the mix this week. And of course, Khalifa as well, who didn't visit the podium either, shockingly enough. He did take pole in, was it Saudi Arabia? But
Yes.
so many drivers that can win this race and can win races throughout the season. I think we're in for a good one here, Barry.
Yes, and by the looks of it, we're in for a dry race unless the clouds come quickly, so we shouldn't be suspending the race due to flooding, so we should be good to go. Just point out quickly, Singapore round 1, Owen started 3rd, which he's starting 3rd here, and went on to win it, although we did have different conditions in Singapore, and it's a totally different track. But I'm sure Owen will be hoping for another reserve race to get on the top step.
I hope he doesn't win, because we all know me. I like the mix of drivers, different drivers winning every week. What was it? Season 6, I think we had 12 winners over the 17 races.
I believe so, yeah.
And it would be brilliant to recreate that as the drivers get underway on their formation lap. Corey leads the field away, but I have just seen a message come through in the chat saying, where's the restart line? So that could be a good one. If ever in doubt, you go on the start-finish line itself, so he should know that one. So yeah, top 3 are from ERT, but of course, your teammates, there are no teammates in JACKOCAR. Your friends are where you find them. Kieran is 4th and Casper is 5th. A man who has had 2 incidents with Jake O'Sullivan at this track. A race in which Ben Shaw took advantage of and won it. I think you were with me that day commentating, weren't you, Bazza? When Ben won around here? Something like that.
Yeah, I think possibly, yeah. I do remember it was like kind of like a must win or something like that for him, wasn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Or a win to get his season kicked off. Casper's car actually is styled on, I believe, the 2006 McLaren. Correct me if I'm wrong. MP422, maybe? I don't know.
Possibly, yeah.
But that's Casper. You'll see Arnold behind him, probably the best looking car on this grid. He's very good at his Arnold.
Yeah, he's always done really good Belgium looking cars, but I'd argue Corey. I do like Corey's.
Go back to our race leader.
I think Corey's is the favourite for me.
You know why I don't like it, don't you?
Yellow?
Too much purple. Too much purple. The yellow's fine. It's the purple. I see Gareth and Risky messing about as the drivers come round to complete the formation lap. Hello to everybody in the chat. Hello, Jess and Scott from work. Big up the league. You know. Sorry, I just been distracted. You know what's good, Scott? And Kaya reminding me to tell you who the jokers are. First of all, stage points are lap 8 and lap 16. And your jokers are Ben Harrett, previous race winner here, and Leroy Haslager, who is also a previous race winner here. No Ben Shaw, no Jamie Wright, and no Michelle Goris. So instead you've got Quinn, Owen Wyatt, and the other one who I've just forgotten. It's Waze Cuba.
Waze.
So 20 cars on the grid. JACKOCAR and Season 8 is about to get going once again. Let's get a good camera angle for you. Corey Dalton will lead the field away. I don't have a good camera angle, but it's Khalifa who's got the better start out of them. Can he hold that into turn 2 as the cars file through turn 1? Corey on the inside, Khalifa on the outside. No contact, but Owen Wyatt spins and Kieran cuts across the grass. Quinn is up to P4. How's he done that? Fantastic start. But Corey, despite the bad start, has retained the lead. And as Carnage further back, we see Risky, Pete and Yori and Gareth all bringing up the rear. Risky, in fact, is all the way back. No damage, just a spin, I believe. But yeah, Corey will file away. And he has done exactly what he needed to do. I said about 2 hours ago, Barry, that he's going to win this race tonight. Maybe I know something we don't.
Right, so just going through the field quickly, there's a couple of cars with slight damage to the front wings. The only driver with no front wing is Connor down in 14th. He's completely got nothing left. And we've got a DNF already, and that's a safety car.
Safety car indeed. So I don't know what happened to Leroy there. One of the Jokers. And yes, Jess, I can get tyres up. There they are for you. So yeah, Leroy's car has clearly brought out the safety car. Remember, the first 2 laps are non-mandatory. You can only make your first mandatory stop from lap 3. And if you follow the safety car in, it will also be classed as non-mandatory. So you might get a few pitters here on lap 3. But certainly the guys that you mentioned, Barry, with the wing damage, Connor being one of those, they'll be able to make a free pit stop here. It won't count, but it'll certainly keep them in the race, which is the advantage of this non-mandatory rule. Risky there will move up to 18th. So yeah, Corey leads lap 1.
Right, Waze has got a left end plate damage. Apart from that, everyone else looks okay. Yeah, everyone else is okay. Connor's in the pits, new front wing on, puts the medium tyres on. Quickly on, Kieran in P3, he was the highest runner to start on the medium tyre. And I believe into the first chicane, I didn't see who tapped, but it looked like Owen got tapped and lost the car slightly, and then everyone just kind of like backed up. I think that's what caused a bit of the chaos.
Yeah, I must admit I missed it as well. I definitely saw Owen get a tap, and Quinn was the lucky man. In fact, let me just get the position change up here. Up 9 places is Danny Quinn. What on earth did he do on the start? Because that's incredible. I thought my timing tower was glitching like it was last week. At one point I had, who was it? I had like Jake leading the way when he wasn't leading. And then it kept changing between Pete and then Leroy. I thought we had that problem, but Quinn is genuinely in P4, so cracking start for him. Commentary duties last week and chasing a podium this week. Back to the tyres because everybody wants that. And yeah, it's all settled down, ready for a restart.
Yeah. So, end of lap 3, I believe, is when people can make their first stop. Is that the rule still?
That is correct, unless the safety car comes in at the same time. So hopefully they don't don't forget that.
Right.
And Jake, by the way, up to P5. Casper missing out, and Owen dropped to 7th. So not too bad, but a bit of a recovery drive on his hands. It's very interesting. I wonder how Khalifa will approach this. Obviously, he can keep his head a lot better than Corey, I can tell you that much. But who wants it more early in the season?
Yeah, because of course, you know, they are ERT teammates, but when it comes to racing in JACKOCAR, there is no team. So
you race for yourself.
You know, you do race for yourself, and he was quicker off the line in the first phase, and then Corey got into the first corner first. But we'll see.
Don't forget as well, we had the slight issue of Corey in the chat saying, what's the restart zone? For future reference for those drivers listening back and those in Kia who are watching, the restart areas and the restart zone, can be found in the Discord. It is up to you to check every week. Safety car in this lap, so you will not see any mandatory stops until at least lap 4. But yes, please do check the Discord, and please do read the rules. They have been updated for season 8. Yeah, looking forward to this restart here. Corey, Khalifa, Kieran, Quinn and Jake, your top 5. None of those have won here before, I don't believe. Not even Jake, so we'll see how this goes. And more interestingly enough, let's see how Corey deals with this restart. He must know. It must be mind games.
Yeah. Alright, if ever in doubt, just wait until the line.
Let's see. We'll go on board with Corey to make sure he doesn't get it wrong. Builds up, keeps a consistent pace. I think he's going at the line. He has absolutely done that. And there's been a jump here from Kieran, who has had to give the position back. The game told him to do that. Awful camera angle. Yeah, so Kieran has really lost out there from trying to go too early. Corey well within his rights to start as late as possible, and I think has caught a few people off guard. Quinn maintains 4th, and Owen and Casper are battling further back. Here they go into turn 5.
Safety car.
Casper, and there's a safety car.
Yes,
because Pete and Gareth are out.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but obviously I think with Corey going so late, it's obviously caught people out at the back of the field, and yeah, 2 speed boys are out. Jordan has had a 5-second penalty for a collision with Ben Spurs, who's a few positions ahead of him, so I don't know how that has happened. And MK Bourne has also got a penalty, which is a 5-second as well.
Yeah, so Mike and Jordan should be able to serve that under this safety car. And of course, the other thing now, with it being lap 4, if you make your pit stop, it will count as mandatory. Yeah. So you might get a conflict of strategy here. I'm seeing no wing for Waze, by the way.
No wing for Waze, and also Ben Spurs has got no wing.
And of course, drivers have no say on when they're taking their mandatory safety car stop, which they're allowed to do. If it's your first stop of a legal time, it'll just be your mandatory one. So we see Corey in, so Kieran stays out.
Speeding as well.
Oh, silly. So all these pit stops you're seeing here, Corey down, they are mandatory. In fact, I'm even going to get a picture of that, just in case I need it for later. So your top 6, Kieran, Casper, Arnold, Jamie Griffiths, Connor and Sullivan Lewis, they will keep this in their back pocket. And should we get a safety car in the second phase of the race, which you never know, it is JACKOCAR, they will be able to utilise that and then maybe even use it to their advantage. But I would say Khalifa is your net leader. And when was the last time we said that? It was Saudi Arabia last week, wasn't it? Before the issues.
I was just on board with Kieran going into turn 1. Well, technically turn 2, and he had to slam on the brakes because he nearly went into the back of the safety car because he was too close. For some reason, Corey still has the 5-second time penalty.
Yes, I don't know why.
I'm taking it when you speed into the pit lane, you can't serve it straight away.
Which you always could on the 22 game, couldn't you?
Yeah.
So that is going to really compound his issues.
Yes, it is.
As let me just read what's happening in the chat. Start, stop, restart in the midfield and back end, and then had to check up. So that's what Gareth did. He had to hit the wall to avoid the cars in front. So the issue was not Corey. We were on board with Corey, and you could see how smooth that was. So issues further back. But as I said, no issue with what Corey actually did on the restart. He's entitled to do that. It was other drivers preempting and getting it wrong that has caused Pete and Gareth to retire from this session. Pete Knighton, by the way, your points leader. So he went from almost pole to crashing out within a few minutes there. As we see Arnold, Jamie Griffiths and Sullivan Lewis all now pitting. So the top 3 are keeping that safety car pit stop in hand.
Yeah. So yeah, a very disappointing race weekend for Pete. Points leader, invalidating his lap in the penultimate corner, starting P20 and then ended up crashing out. He'll be very disappointed, but it's still very early in the season, and he can just bounce back next week.
Yeah, I mean, certainly from previous seasons, it does feel like Pete is somewhat back. He had the P2 in Saudi Arabia, didn't he? So he hasn't quite got rid of that long winless streak, which currently stands at 111 races since we last saw him on the top step. But it does feel like Pete is a lot better this season. This game suiting him. And speaking of streaks, Jamie Wright, who is not with us this evening, but this deserves a mention, not here for his own reasons. He is the current longest consecutive Cup Series starter, so most races in a row. He has done 82, and he has not missed a race since Singapore round 3, season 3. So that streak comes to an end at 82, breaking the previous record of Pete Knighton, which was 69. So if Jamie Griffiths doesn't miss any races for the next 11, Jamie Griffiths will have the new record, and he's not missed a race since Austria round 17, season 3, when he wasn't even here. So he's not missed a race since he started in JACKOCAR. But enough of that for now. We have a restart to get ourselves underway with. Kieran will lead Casper, Connor and Corey, with Khalifa in P5, your net race leader. Here goes Kieran, and he has done that beautifully to get away from the guys behind. Much cleaner further back. I'm not seeing any issues, are you, Barry?
No, it's all good. A few cars going side by side. MK Barnes made a place, Arnold.
And we're seeing Khalifa defending from Quinn. Quinn sits a net P2, by the way, with Jake O'Sullivan, the champion, behind. He's getting overtaken by Owen Wyatt, who won last week. And through goes Jake once again. With a little bit of racing between him and Owen. But you see Owen on the grass further back. But the position has gone to Jake in the end. Owen won't like that. But it's a brilliant JACKOCAR style move as Yuri now gets past Owen. We follow Khalifa through this corner because I don't know the name of it. And he will know he's in a very good position. Corey, of course, still without 5 seconds to serve, but he has at least got a mandatory stop out the way, and these guys are already on the back of Connor, who, look at that, a move up the inside of Casper from Connor, again, really aggressive, but it invites Corey to come and play, and through he goes. Fantastic opportunist move from Corey. Leaves Khalifa behind. And let's look at this from the back of Casper. Corey and Connor having contact once again. But Corey getting away with it, and Connor having to settle himself and now fend off from Khalifa as Corey sets about chasing Casper. Fastest lap from Kieran, who does a 1:19.0. And of course, first, second and fourth have not pitted. Keep that in mind. The first stage point comes at the end of this lap, which is what Kieran will be going for. He wasn't here last week, so he needs to get as many points as possible as we see him lead the way into turn 5. I believe it's turn 5. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Yellow flags.
I believe you're right. Oh, we've got what's going on at the back.
It must have been a spinning Jamie Griffiths, who has recovered. And by the way, Corey's got past Casper. We totally missed that. But Corey on a charge here. Khalifa, meanwhile, has failed to get or make any ground on Connor here. So maybe this is what we were talking about earlier. Khalifa using his head and keeping his tyres alive. Corey, the more excitable terrier-style driving as he works his way to try and steal the stage win from Kieran. Kieran, I would say, who needs it more coming into this season. Not quite.
Khalifa's got him.
Well done, Khalifa.
Went down. Yep, Khalifa's got him.
Better.
Oh, he's been tapped. He's round.
He has been. I'm just
spun round as well.
I'm just making sure Kieran gets the stage win. So yes, you are correct. I'm sorry to move away from that. Khalifa was spun, and it allows the top 3 to pull away here. That
VSC,
will help Corey.
VSC.
Who pits? Arnold pits. I wonder if he's bored of those tyres. We'll stay on board for this. Just write this one down for me.
So Connor's gone. What's happened to Connor? Connor has retired in the pits.
What a shame to lose Connor, who still had that safety car stop in hand. Yeah. I don't know if he got perhaps a little bit too flustered with the move from Corey, but that was something that Connor brought on himself as DRS is enabled, and we are green flag racing once again in Imola. So yes, Kieran Corey, Casper. That, by the way, that tap for Khalifa. Yellow flags.
I'm just wondering if that...
I think it's Connor's car going around, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just pulled over now. Khalifa got the move done, and I think either Connor misjudges braking, is tapped the rear of him, spun him round, and then Connor's got spun by Yuri. And it's... So if Khalifa has got damage, we shall keep an eye on his pace, if he's got side pod damage or anything like that.
You may well do, as we see Casper now pit. And Khalifa coming under pressure from Jake O'Sullivan. So 3 championships between these two. But it certainly looks like Khalifa has lost that edge he had at the start of the race. Or again, is he just being sensible? Although the car doesn't look easy to drive at all, does it, from Jake's point of view? And Kyle, by the way, up in P5. This is 4th position? Yes, it is.
Mr. Owen Wyatt not far behind them as well.
There he is.
4-horse race for P3 at the minute.
So we certainly do have a race on our hands, that's for sure. Anyone could win this one. Corey, by the way. We've missed it again, but he's taken the lead away from Kieran. Yes. So he's a man that knows what he has to do. A 5-second penalty in mind. The gap to Khalifa is 3.4. That's the one that you need to keep your eye on between 1st and 3rd, because Corey is going to lose 5 seconds when he comes in to stop. As Risky picks up a 3-second penalty.
Yeah, so, although we've had 2 safety cars, Kieran's tyres are from the start of the race. I believe he's not.
Yeah, they are.
Double check, yeah.
And here goes Jake O'Sullivan on Khalifa. That was easy. DRS assisted move for the champion. But through he goes, and Kyle...
Oh, look at Kyle's going to try...
Kyle trying to... Oh, great defending from Khalifa. Kyle doing his absolute best there. And it just invites Owen Wyatt and that pressure from behind, doesn't it? Kyle racing really well here.
Got Waze and MK Bond just swapping positions there. MK Bond's up to P8. Waze is going to try and come back at him. He's not going to do it on the outside. And he's gone wide, he's off the track, and he's lost another couple of places.
I've joined him on board for that. I'm sure he'll appreciate it. Jordan now right behind Waze, as is Jamie Griffiths getting involved. Ooh, big moment there for... Is that Waze's car? Looks erratic, doesn't it? And maybe he's got some damage that we don't know about. A few penalties have sprung up around the field. And by the way, the gap, which I said between Corey and Khalifa, forget that, it's now between Corey and Jake, has come down to 2.5. So are we going to finally get that Jake and Jake and Corey showdown that we so desperately want?
Right. So yeah, I've just gone on board quickly with Waze. I feel like he's got underfloor damage or some sort of body damage, because it is squiggling a lot coming out of corners. And he has had slight damage on lap 1, and then he had no front wing on the second safety car as well.
Oh, so Waze!
Whoa, jeez.
It's safe.
Very good. But going to be under attack from Jordan next. These two guys look very similar with liveries.
They do, and Waze is still struggling out of that corner as well, so it just brings Jordan straight back into it. And the thing with Jordan, he's very controlled when he does make his moves, so he may just wait until the main straight. Other battles around the field, there's this one. Ben Harrett and Mike Kelterborn very close on track, and it's going to be Mike around the outside becomes the inside. A little bit of will to will. Will Ben Harrett have the advantage as they fall down the hill? Yes, he will. Pulls a block on Mike, and that was lovely, getting the move done there. Up into P7 he goes, and can now hunt down Yori as we see Risky in the background off the track, and fighting Jamie Numbers.
Kyle's taken for going for P3 on Khalifa into turn 1. Sorry to crush you there, Jacko.
Job done. That's absolutely fine. Kyle making his way up through the field. So, second mandatory stops can all happen from lap 17 onwards, so the drivers have to keep that in mind. And keep in mind yourselves, moment for Kyle and Khalifa. Khalifa definitely has issues. But yeah, keep in mind yourselves that Casper and Kieran can make a mandatory stop under the safety car should they need to. Everyone else has to pit under green, so this race could change just yet. And by the way, look at this gap. Corey and Jake is 4.5 seconds. So Corey has seen the danger looming, and he's pulled his finger out and has almost got rid of that penalty.
He's killed his ERS doing it, but it's what he needs to do. Kyle and Khalifa are not much better off on ERS, but Owen is going to be going for P4 now because he's got over 50% battery left. And I do believe that Khalifa has got slight issues with that car.
Yeah, absolutely. As by the way, Risky gets past Jamie Griffiths, but here goes Owen White on Khalifa. Is he going to stall out? He is a little bit. As we see yellow flags, Jamie numbers it out of this race. And where is he? He's on the inside safety car. Casper thought about pitting, and of course he thought, oh no, it's too early just yet. But the safety car is out, and that is going to make Corey's life so much harder.
Yes, and we're not even halfway through this race, and we're on our third safety car.
Welcome to JACKOCAR.
I believe 2 stoppers is Arnold and Quinn at the back of the field. They are fine till the end, but I highly doubt their medium tyres will make it.
Yes.
I haven't done a lot of racing on this track on this game, so I'm not sure how the tyre wear is, but
it's awful.
It's a big ass to do half the race distance.
Yes, it's what was I going to say? I totally forgotten. Of course, any stops that you see happen between now and, well, lap 14, 15 and 16 are non-mandatory. So I imagine the only stops you will see are people who don't mind giving up track position and want to have a quick little sprint. I mean, to be fair, if I was Casper or Kieran, I would be pitting for the soft tyres anyway, because you're not going to lose out on much track position, and then just go to the end. Not go to the end, but, you know, hope and pray a safety car comes out, bring you right back into it. As we see 2 pit stops, 3 pit stops with Waze as well.
Corey is caught up to the safety car, and the queue follows now.
So now that decision for Casper and Kieran becomes a little bit more difficult because there's so many cars in front, behind, sorry. Certainly I think Kieran should be considering pitting very shortly after the safety car comes in. Casper can go a bit longer with those medium tyres. But as it stands, your net race leader is that man once again, Jake O'Sullivan, hunting number 10, double figures, the 2-time champion, the face of JACKOCAR, behind an old enemy, Corey Dalton.
Yeah, I think Yuri will be pleasantly pleased with P6 at the minute. You know, starting P16 after invalidating in quali. He's made his 1 mandatory, still has 1 to go, but I think he'll be okay with that. After him spinning corner, he lost position because his car was kind of boxed in, he couldn't really go anywhere, so back up to P6, I think he'll be happy with that. Jordan's not doing too bad in P7 also.
Yeah. Don't mind me for a couple of seconds, Bazza. I'm just doing a live in-race JACKOVAR, as I've been requested to do one. Yeah, so basically Kaya saying that Quinn and Arnold haven't done the mandatory stops, but they are in. Not? They have. That's what I've just VAR'd.
Oh, right, yeah.
And they are fine. So everybody is on strategy. So VAR check complete. No wrongdoing. Trust it to be Arnold in the picture once again, the footballer who should know better.
Arnold. I've just realised as well, he's actually just made a 3rd stop. He's just slapped on a set of soft tyres, so he's going to go for a quick stint.
Yeah, he's doing exactly what I said.
Yeah. get some positions up, and then see what the race unfolds later on.
And this strategy, by the way, it does work because it's what I did in Saudi Arabia when I went on to win. I made an extra pit stop, put on the softs, albeit it was much later in the race, but those softs, they needed to do 6 or 7 laps, and I just easily carved my way through the field. It was like going to Toby Carvery on a Sunday afternoon. Can I have a bit of gammon and turkey, please, chef man? He cuts up the gammon, and it was so easy. And that was like me in Saudi that time. 1 race win to my name in the Kia Series. Unlike you, Bazza, 3 wins, is it? Monza, Japan, and...
No, I believe it's only 2, you know.
It's only 2, in the same season.
Yes. Monza was on my joker to get into the playoffs. I missed a couple of races in the playoffs, and it was a must-win in Japan, and yes...
You went to fight for a championship.
Yeah, although, disappointingly, the championship 5 was in Saudi, which, being a racer on a pad, is not the best track for that.
Absolutely not. But maybe you and I will come back with a vengeance this season when Kia Series gets going on September 5th. But will Corey do his same trick as last time and start on the start-finish line? He maintains his speed, and off he goes. But Jake has read it perfectly. Will the game tell him to give it back? It looks like no. And Corey is a victim of his own doing there. But will he go for Jake on the inside of turn 1? There's no contact. Jake holds on but runs wide, and Corey goes back through and retakes the lead. But keep in mind, he has that penalty. Yellow flags further back. Who's spun? It must be Risky. As we see him fall down the order, Corey leads. And it's Kyle in P3 with Kieran 4th and Casper 5th. Khalifa back in the mix up in P6.
Wow, we were 5 wide at one point going down that pit straight. Risky, I don't believe spun. He avoided contact and went across the gravel. I assume his tyres when he rejoined were just too dirty and he spun then. But no damage for him, just lost a lot of ground now.
Yeah. Gareth, by the way, trying to correct me on how and what happened in Saudi Arabia. I think you'll find the version of events I told you is spot on, Gareth. As we follow Casper and Kyle through the chicane. Casper tries the outside. Kyle will give him the room as we head on down towards what you called, Barry, Ravazza. Is this correct? Who knows? But through goes Casper into P4. Move done on Kyle. And can he chase down the leaders as we see Jake O'Sullivan make his mandatory stop as yellow flags come out? Is this perfect timing for the champion? The yellow flags have gone. This is just a mandatory stop, so all eyes on Corey to see what he can do, and can he get rid of that penalty and come back to fight later on in the race. Kieran is P2 and Casper is third as we lose Waze from this race. And what's happened there?
He's retired in the pit lane. Too much damage on the car. He went off penultimate corner into the gravel, so that brought out the quick yellow flags, and he's called it a day.
Thank you very much, and that's why we have co-commentators, because I had no idea. As we follow Risky out in P14, there are no safety cars. It's just a couple of localised yellows. As Corey leads the way, I wonder if Kieran's trying to do anything to that gap, because he is in contention to win this race, along with Casper, who have that safety car pit stop in hand, unlike the rest of them. However, what you need to keep in mind is everybody from,
I believe,
Jake down, so
Jake
9th
downwards, yeah,
to 14th have now completed strategy. Everybody else must make a pit stop.
Yeah, I do believe Quinn is okay on stops, but I doubt he's going to make it to the end on them tyres. As we have DRS enabled.
Corey making his stop, by the way. This is important, so he will come out behind Jake. But where is Jake?
So he's going to lose a few positions doing that. We have a move into turn 2. Then Arnold's going side by side.
Here goes Arnold. Arnold's looking very racy, isn't he? Those fresh softs doing absolute bits for him, as the kids would say.
Which is what he needs to do.
And he's right on the back of MK Bourne. So what does MK Bourne do here? Does he defend the inside, or does he just hold his line? That's exactly what he's doing, and there gets the penalty. Arnold is an absolute menace when he's behind you like this. Trying to force a mistake from Mike Kelterborn, the man from Germany. But here goes Arnold. Not quite enough. But he has Mike offline, and the better line for the chicane for Arnold. Gets the traction down, and that's move done. Brilliant stuff from Arnold, the man who somehow does not have a championship to his name in this league. But what about Ben Harrett? What a move from Ben Harrett on Mike Kelterborn, following Arnold through. Fantastic stuff here in Imola. And away they go for another lap. And Arnold has a 3-second lead to, not a lead, a 3-second time difference to try and cut down. Brilliant racing from those three. Nice and clean as well. And Ben Harrett looking lively as ever as we see Jordan pit here. So he is now on strategy. It just means that the top 6 still need to pit.
Fresh set of mediums for Jordan, so that should be good to the end as Mr. Owen Wyatt sets fast lap in P11.
Yes, he does. Here's Jake, by the way, and the difference to Corey is that. So Corey is in turn 2, and Jake is on the run-up to turn 5. Is it too much to ask for Corey? There are 12 laps to go, 13 I should say. And of course we still may have a safety car. And it's JACKOCAR, and anything can happen. So, but do not rule out this man, by the way. Very quietly has Kyle been making progress, and he has not let Jake go just yet.
Yeah, and Khalifa's still hanging with them as well. Even though I do believe he's got slight damage, he's still sticking with these guys.
Khalifa, by the way, on a 68 winless streak, and that's not races since he last won. That's races since races of JACKOCAR in the Cup Series. So, but 68 races that we've had since Khalifa last won in JACKOCAR. As for Kyle, it's just the 10 when he was at Monaco. He won last season on his return to the league. All the big names returning to JACKOCAR. Great to see. They love it here. It's a drug. You wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Arnold's going to feed out into this. Is going to be behind him now. They just passed. Arnold's made another stop.
Corey with a move there on Owen Wyatt. Makes him look pedestrian. Arnold comes out behind this. And my goodness, do we have a race on at the end here. So first, second, third, fourth and fifth need to pit. Your race leader, your net race leader, is Jake O'Sullivan. But all of them, from Jake down to Arnold, in one frame there. And there's 11 laps to go.
Car would spice this up nicely.
Wouldn't it just? And of course, Kieran and Casper, they can pit under safety car, but Ben Harrett, Mike Kelterborn, Danny Quinn, they need to make a green flag stop. It's absolutely essential that they do that. Kyle, meanwhile, has just dropped out of the DRS zone of Jake O'Sullivan. What does Jake O'Sullivan prefer? Would he prefer a 10th win to his name, or would he rather see Kyle comfortably qualify for the playoffs? To be honest, if Kyle improves and improves and improves as he does, I would take my 10th win.
Yeah, Jake's a racer, you know, it's all about the numbers. At the end of the day, Khalifa's got a better run on Kyle, and now goes chasing after Jake. And Owen gets past Corey.
Yep, this time it's Owen making Corey look pedestrian, so those two having a great battle. And certainly, as you pointed out, speaking of racers, Khalifa still looking very good, and actually in with a shout of the win. So we thought he had damage. He may well have damage, but he's inside the DRS detection, at least, of Jake O'Sullivan. And this is where the battle is now. So we'll wait for the others to pit, but we'll follow this action whilst they're all close. Kyle only half a second behind Khalifa. All three of them there in the same shot, as you can see.
Yeah, and all on the same major tyre. Okay, Corey's are one lap younger.
Look at this. 1, 2.
Really make a difference.
3, 4 and 5, all of them together. It's fantastic.
Oh, and Khalifa's coming down to the penultimate corner, and he is in DRS range.
Let's go on board with Jake then and look back. Will Khalifa close that gap? Or will Jake burn some ERS? I feel like they might just be matching each other for the moment. Thank you to those of you who are still with us, watching and enjoying this race. It's actually a proper race we have on our hands now. Not this classic JACKOCAR stuff where they all just crash into each other and you get a random win.
So going down that pit straight, Jake was defending using ERS. Khalifa only used the DRS. Owen passed Kyle, so Owen is on a charge and is going after these two now as well.
And I'm looking at Corey and Kyle. What happened to Kyle, by the way? Did he lose out to Owen that we didn't see?
It was just an easy overtake down the pit straight, bit of ERS, DRS. It was an easy move.
Okay.
Owen's just flying at the minute.
Let me get this on gap to leader. So you can see Jake here, 21 seconds. We see Kieran pit, 21 seconds. Corey, 23.8. Of course, that time's coming down, but it was 23. So yeah, they're all within
Khalifa's
4
closer
seconds.
This time. Khalifa is a lot closer this time.
This time then.
Bond is in the pits.
Imagine Corey will get Kyle here, but let's see what Khalifa can do against Jake then. The championships from Season 3, Season 5 and Season 7. Khalifa dragging his way towards the back of Jake O'Sullivan's
Corey's
gearbox.
gone for a dive.
And we've missed it.
Corey
Corey and Kyle fighting.
And he got it. Nicely done, no contact. It was a good move. Late dive from Corey there.
My apologies, I missed it. We saw the aftermath of it, but Corey certainly has the position now on Kyle, and Kieran has come out the pits with soft tyres to the end. It leaves Casper leading the way, Ben Harrett and Danny Quinn, the other two who need to stop. This is bubbling nicely, isn't it, Barry? Let's go back on board with Khalifa. Khalifa, by the way, dragged his way back with the DRS and then just went a little tiny bit wide at turn 2 before we cut away to Corey and Kyle. So he did lose a bit of time, but he has stayed within a second. But look at that man there, Owen Wyatt, still in the picture. What happens this time around? Khalifa absolutely on it, and it's so good to have him back as he has a moment. And what a shame for that. Owen Wyatt's going to be easy meat, easy prey for the man from Northern Ireland as the Bahraini international slides out the final corner. He gets a DRS anyway, but Owen Wyatt, it's going to move up into a net P2 here. Fantastic driving. Oh, and Khalifa has another moment. He must have underbody damage. Owen Wyatt, you're our only hope to try and stop Jake, and here comes Corey on Khalifa. Down the inside he goes, but thinks better of it. But surely it's just a matter of time before Corey finds his way past Khalifa, who is having all sorts of problems. Have those medium tyres gone off? Khalifa, who's been using his head so much in this race and looks so good, but there's yellow flags, Barry. It's Risky who stopped on track, but he'll get going. No safety car this time. Fantastic few moments here in Imola as Jake has crept away. The gap is 1.8. Even Khalifa is at a DRS, but what about Corey? Down the inside at the chicane. Does he get the move done? Yes, he does. And Kyle and Khalifa make contact, and through goes Kieran. Unbelievable seas. Khalifa recovers to track, but the race win looks like it might be over unless we get a late safety car now. Fantastic move from Corey, who has been on it as well since he come out of the pit lane and got rid of that penalty. Wow.
We had Kieran and Kyle going side by side in the same chicane behind, and I think it was Kyle just outbroke himself, and that spun Khalifa around. But now Kieran's in this fight. On them soft tyres, Kieran's going to be charging through the field.
Yep, and Arnold as well, who we forgot to mention in all of this. So many big names, big hitters in this league. He'd be loving all of this action on track that's happening in front of him as he sees the big names tumble as he drives past them as they're littered in the gravel trap everywhere.
Kieran and Corey going side by side there.
My apologies, I missed that. But yeah, Corey and Kieran still very much there, close to the back of Owen Wyatt. And Kieran has a little moment. Just needs to calm down because he has the tyres on him at the moment.
Yeah, just wait, be patient, wait for the DRS zone.
Yeah, look at these goal hangers, by the way, up front. They, well, Casper's the main one. I understand why he's staying out. But with what's going on behind you, Ben Harrett and Danny Quinn. Oh, there you go. Danny Quinn pits.
Owen just nearly done a Khalifa there. Lost the back end.
Look at the overspeed. And Kieran.
He's going to get him. Yeah, they're both going to
Kieran's got in a double DRS. Will he make a move on Corey? To the outside of turn 2. No, he won't. He knows better than that.
Oh, better traction out of this corner.
Oh, defensive move from Corey. Nothing wrong with that. Great racing. And he gets a little impatient, does Kieran. And even Owen Wyatt gives him a little tap to say, calm down, son. Just wait your moment. Corey runs wide. And that'll bring Kieran back into it. Just that little bit. Owen has actually backed away. I don't know if he's got some wing damage from that contact. I didn't see anything fly off, but look at these two together. Corey and Kieran putting on a show. These have history as well. Do you remember Mexico when Kieran got his first win? There was some awfully defensive moves back then from Corey. But he knows the limits of the league as they head into the chicane.
And all this fighting is just...
Oh, penalty for Corey! What a shame. Yeah, Jake, 2 seconds up the road. Yeah. So you're, believe it or not, if you want somebody other than a Jake O'Sullivan race victory, at the moment you're relying on this man, Kieran Spears. What a shame. Goes for the move, the dummy on Corey, but the overspeed's so great, Corey won't be able to do anything with it. Even he won't do anything stupid from there, would he? Maybe not. And he concedes a position to Kieran, who has actually had a very good race, his first race this season. Of course, we mentioned he spent last week with his girlfriend. Perhaps it's fueled him, because before he went and saw his girlfriend, he was absolutely, utterly trash at this game. But now he's hunting down the two-time champion, Jake O'Sullivan, with 5 laps to go here in Imola. 2 drivers still waiting to make a pit stop. This is one of them, and this is the other one. Casper, surely... He was desperately wanting a win here at Imola. He's gone so well before.
I've just thought Ben Harriet's on a joker, and he's made stops. As he made a green pit stop.
He has.
He might be on for the win here. It's just occurred to me he's on a joker tonight.
Same. Well then, this changes everything. And the man behind, as we see Casper finally pit, but yeah, the man behind Ben Harrett on track
now takes the lead of this race on his joker.
But it's his buddy Jake O'Sullivan behind. He's got the protection, Barry. Surely not. How have we forgotten about this?
As well. We left it late, but we remembered eventually.
God, we just wanted to keep it entertaining. Ben Harrett leads on merit in Imola. Is he going to go back to back? Unbelievable if he does it. And on the same track as well. The same track, actually, that 3 seasons ago, he was complaining in my DMs of a dodgy restart from another driver. But he was in the wrong. He come back a season later and he won here. And now he's on course to win again. The gap is 3 seconds. That's legit. But you know damn well Jake will defend from Kieran. So Ben Harrett, early doors, may, if he gets it done, may just make it 3 winners from the opening 3 races. JACKOCAR delivers once again. Unbelievable.
Right. What can Jake do? Because Kieran is now only 1.8 seconds behind now and is closing in quickly. But is Kieran pushing too hard on those softs, because they won't last that long?
We've seen Kieran get sideways a couple of times already as well, so the life in those softs is not what it was. And obviously Jake and Kieran both champions, but you'd like to think Jake will just manage this race slightly better. We speak about the history between Corey and Kieran. What about Jake and Kieran? Maybe Kieran's the problem. But Saudi Arabia last year with the defensive driving from Kieran to try and retain the lead. Of course, he got penalised for that. But yeah, 2.5 laps to go for Ben Harrett. I get abused for saying the man from Stansted. How about the man from Bishop Stortford-ish? I think that'll do. Local to the Stansted Airport region, but he's on his way to winning in JACKOCAR once again.
Them tyres must be absolutely
they're screaming.
He's done half the race on them. Jake is now only 1.3 seconds behind him. Kieran has dropped a couple of tenths off, so 2 to go.
Yep. Will be 2 to go once we get round this corner. I can't imagine Jake.
Oh, is Jake going for the numbers? Is he going to spoil the party and go for the numbers?
I can't imagine it. Not here, not on a Joker. This is worth 10 playoff points to Ben Harrett, by the way. And whilst we're on the topic of Jokers, before the inevitable move happens, I'm being reminded by Michael OKK that Casper has 1 to go. I think that's an old text message. Thank you for watching, Michael. We miss you. Let's talk about old Jokers for a second as I look away from the screen. Joker wins in the Cup Series. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 Joker victories in 116 races. This is number 117. The last one we had was season 7, so just last season, round 1 in China, Jamie Wright. Previous Joker winners include obviously Jamie Wright, Corey Dalton, Leroy, Ben Shaw, Jamie Griffiths, Khalifa El Khalifa, Arnold de Grief, Kyle Smith and Michael O'Keke. Is Ben Harrett about to join that list? It is 1.5 laps to go, but his buddy Jake O'Sullivan is starting to put the pressure on, or is he just playing the rear gunner role? If you want to go into the playoffs, this is the sort of pressure you're going to be under, my old mate Ben Harrett, as Kieran is also closing in, but it's 1 to go in Imola. What will happen next?
What's he going to do? He's got his DRS.
He's not pushing. He's not pushing. The DRS is shut. He is playing the rear gunner role, and Ben Harrett then is about 1 minute and 10 seconds away. Yellow flags, it doesn't matter. He's about 1 minute and 10 seconds away from being a 2-time winner in JACKOCAR. Jake O'Sullivan will get the playoff point for being P2 on the podium. But, of course, go on.
And crucially,
Ben
Kieran
Harrett
was not in DRS range starting the final lap. Kieran's not really got another chance for an overtake because it's tricky to overtake for the rest of the track.
I'll tell you what though, Kieran is pushing and that gap is a whole lot closer. You're going to need some Kieran tactics from Jake O'Sullivan if you want this to remain smooth, because I think we're going to have to get a couple of brake checks here. It is close, isn't it? But I think that might be job done. Jake O'Sullivan doing an absolute brilliant job of keeping Kieran behind. We'll go on board with Kieran because a late lunge could ruin this for everybody. It's not going to happen. Jake has his moment, but that's enough to clear the road for Ben Harrett, who's going to be on his way. Ben Harrett from Bishop Stortford wins in JACKOCAR. Imola delivers once again, another Joker winner. Corey will cross the line in P4. Jake and Kieran on the podium with an Owen Wyatt is P5. What a race we've had. All the big hitters come and they fell away. And it's Ben Harrett who does the big stuff in Imola and is through to the playoffs in season 8.
Wow.
Oh.
Take a bow, Ben Harriet. What a drive. We do apologise. We did kind of miss that you were on the Joker,
forgot.
but at least we made up for it before you finished.
Yeah,
what
it took
a result for that. What a result.
It took us 27 laps to realise. And I'll tell you what, even without that, we were going to have a brilliant race, because I think
we had
Kieran versus Jake at the end would have been brilliant.
Yeah. We had too much action going on in the midfield, and we totally forgot about Ben just cruising to victory.
Yeah, Barry, I'll let you read the results out as I get my pictures for the stats. Whew.
Right, so results of Imola. Ben Harriet winning from a nice, comfortable drive, so to speak. Well done to him. Straight into the playoffs. Jake, I think, will still be very pleased with P2, and Kieran making his first race back in season 8. Taking the final spot on the podium. The rest of the field, Corey, P4, starting on pole, be slightly disappointed. Owen, P5. Arnold, P6, with 4 pit stops. Casper will take P7. Khalifa, I think, will be slightly disappointed with P8. Yuri will be P9, and Jordan Rannon off the top 10. MK Bourne is P11. Quinn will be 12th. Kyle will be 13th, and Speed Risky is your last runner in P14. DNFs will be Waze, Jamie, Connor, Pete, Gareth, and Leroy.
And with that, Jake O'Sullivan will be the new points leader. I do believe if it wasn't for Pete Knighton, if it wasn't for Owen Wyatt being a reserve driver, he would have been points leader coming into this race. Pete was, as it happened, but I think Jake now would overtake Owen regardless. When you were reading through the names there, Yori P9 had a bit of a nothing race, didn't he? But still points on the board. That's all that matters there. And what a race. Mr. Baldwin, thank you very much for your lovely assistance. Do you know where we are next week?
I did have it written down somewhere.
I do. It's Great Britain, as it happens. So, yeah. Next week, I'm not sure who the co-commentator is. It might be you, it might be Danny, it might be Owen Wyatt.
Yep.
But either way,
Silverstone.
Silverstone
Be sure
next
to
week.
Tune in. And a quick shout out quickly. Kia Series returns at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, I believe.
Yeah,
if I got my dates right.
Yeah, September 5th, live from Barcelona.
Yeah, be sure to tune in to the slower guys, so to speak.
the peasants of JACKOCAR get going, basically. Yeah. Anyway, this has been Cup Series. I've been Jacko. That's been Bazza. Thank you very much for joining us here in Imola. Have a good weekend.